Now, you've seen some of the grapples, you've seen counters, but I mean, people are trying to punch you. It's pugilism after all. So what do you do to counter that? Well, my favorite one is the cross counter. Now, how does the cross counter work? Well, let's say somebody's throwing a 1-2 at you, which is a lead straight and then a cross. He's going to throw his lead, I'm going to defend it. He's going to throw the cross, and I'm going to step into it. Now, the next time, I'm going to do the whole thing. So he's going to come in, I'm going to deflect him, and there is my cross counter. Now, I've shortened this a little bit. That's where my extension finishes, and that's where I'd be punching him if it was an actual match, because I want to knock him out with this. His incoming motion, my incoming motion, should slam them together nice and simply and really flatten him. Now, there's a variation of this. If he comes in, I can do my rounder. The nice thing about the rounder is, look at what I've done to his arm. I've got it trapped, because now I can push. This is not a good position for him. He can't punch me with this arm, really, because of all the torsion against his shoulder. And I'm nice in line. I can throw my shovels into his body here. I can come up high, deliver it to the side of his ear, or I can step in and trip him and throw him on the ground. Holding him like that is actually very useful. Why don't you do that one to me?
Okay.
So come in, cross the nose, and then here, see how it drives my shoulder down? Apply a little elbow torsion. Just keep rotating through.
Good.
Yeah. You can see how twisted up I am. So now he has all the time in the world to start boxing me while I try to slip out. That is the cross counter. Modern boxing has a cross counter too. It's a little bit different because the initials here, and they drive in. I don't like this as much. This is still a good counter punch, but if I don't catch him square, that has a straight line to me. Whereas going to the outside of him, here, I'm a lot safer. Because just, even from here, if he tries to come around and hit me, I can knock him away and be safe. And now I'm back in guard, and we're boxing again. Thank you. All right, one last thing. Because you could wrestle, you would often have people who did things like Cornish catch wrestling. And what they would like to do is reach in, grab you by the thighs, and throw you to the ground, whether by a single or by both. Either way, it means you falling on the back of your head. There's a fairly simple counter to this one. When he goes for your front leg, first thing you do, get your front leg out. Now you notice I've reached out. I'm almost putting him in a chancery. But I'm going to take my other hand, I'm going to hook it. Now, for those of you who watch MMA, you're going, this looks like a guillotine choke. Guess what? It is. It's called a rising guillotine choke, because what I do next, which I'm not going to do to Johnny because we like Johnny, is from there, I stand up and lean back a little bit. The book I read this in has a great description of what it does. Putting a man in this hold is the next best thing to hanging him. As you know, guillotine chokes are, well, dangerous. In this case, the rising guillotine choke is illegal in a lot of competition simply because it is that dangerous. Because when they say, like, hanging a man, they don't mean strangling him, they mean dropping him on a rope and cracking his neck. As if I do that quickly, I will cause damage to his vertebra. It also says in that manual, if you pull this off on a man and it does not win you the match, he will never try that move again. And I think it's a fairly accurate description, because getting into that once is bad enough. Getting into it repeatedly could leave you stuck in a chair or plain old dead. Thank you. So I'm going to demonstrate that, that guillotine again. I'm going to start lifting Johnny. Now, before I do that, here's a couple things you have to understand. Johnny and I have worked together for years. We know each other, and we're very careful with each other. This is not something you do with just anybody. If you take jiu-jitsu and have somebody you've worked with for several years, you can do this kind of practice. But if you're just doing this at first, do not do this. Period. End of statement, or you're going to have a hurt friend. And probably not have a friend after that. So, again, he goes, I'm going to grab his leg, throw him on the back of his head. I'm going to step my leg back, hook his head. Now you see I'm across his neck. I hook my arm in. When I stand up, you see what I do to his neck. If I went all the way to here, you would hear popping sounds. And they would be very bad popping sounds for him. Thank you.